One of the biggest motivators in my life up until recently used to be the constant fear of reaching the end of my life and being presented with a visual of everything I could have achieved, but I didn't because I didn't embrace discomfort. Now, just over a year ago, that whole motivation changed when my son Theo was born into the world. Nowadays, my motivation is driven by showing him what a man can be capable of when he puts his mind to a set task. But I realised that it's my responsibility not just to tell him this, but also to show him this through my actions and not my words. And that's why in July 2024, I'll be taking on the Ironman triathlon in Switzerland, basically starting from nothing. An Ironman triathlon is made up of a 2.4 mile swim, followed by a 112 mile bike ride, then completed with a 26.2 mile run or a marathon at the end. My name's Drew Shaw, I'm a father and I also run a gym and an online coaching business helping hybrid athletes. Now, I've always had an innate drive to want to do better in every element of my life, and I hate the idea of never fulfilling my potential, which is why I'm taking on this challenge. When I first sat down and started planning out which challenge I'd be trying to conquer next year and looked at the Ironman, I originally planned the goal of just trying to get over the finish line. And whilst I feel that would still be a respectable achievement, to truly get out of my comfort zone, I'm aiming to do this in sub 12 hours. So, in order to see if this is realistic or not, we first need to get a good understanding of where my baseline level of fitness is right now. Okay, so we've just arrived at the University of Gloucester, which is actually the same university that I went to study my degree in strength and conditioning. We are here doing a V02 Max test today, which is essentially a test to measure how capable my body is of uptaking and utilizing oxygen during exercise. And then it will give me a score. Based on that score, we'll be able to accurately predict where I should be with my training and also be able to track that over the course of this Ironman preparation. So let's get into it. All right guys, so I'm here in the lab with Josh, who's about to take me through a world of pain with the V02 Max test. I'll pass it over to him. He's going to explain exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're going to run the test on these machines over here.
Right, hello everyone. Yeah, so as Drew explained, the job today is to make him suffer. Basically, we're going to put him through his paces on a treadmill V02 Max test, and essentially what we're trying to find out is how well his muscles extract oxygen from his blood. Your V02 Max, generally the kind of average population is around 30 to 40. Your elite athletes, like your endurance cyclists and your cross-country skiers, you're looking at around about 70 up to 90.
We won't be there.
we can aim high, we can aim high. But yeah, so effectively, we're going to put Drew with the MetaMax, so we have a gas analyzer. Effectively, that looks at how much carbon dioxide and oxygen he breathes back out, and that we can use some fancy calculations to try and work out exactly how much oxygen his muscles are taking. The more oxygen your muscles use, the better that you are, the more efficient you are, the kind of faster you can run for longer. So we're going to put him on a treadmill. He's going to keep running until he can't anymore. The treadmill is going to go an increase in speed every kind of 8 or so seconds, and it's just going to keep on going until Drew has to basically collapse. It's a really grim test, but it's a really useful test, a really good physiological marker to see your current fitness. Aerobically, and for stuff like Drew's Ironman, it's going to prove a really, really good like foundation point as to where he can go from here.
Lovely. Let's do it.
Pop that over your shoulders. There we go.
How many people do you have make bang jokes in this mask?
Oh, everyone who does it. Cool, give me a couple jumps. Yeah, we're all good. It's going to start and it's just going to pretty much jump straight to 6. So I'm going to hit go and you just keep going until you can't go anymore, mate. So, the best way to do this as well is if you try and keep your everything you got, come on!
I'd say that's at least 95%. Yeah, we'll stop it there.
Nice.
I'm happy with that one as well.
4 seconds, so you kind of have like a time point.
It was darkness as your ally.
So we just finished up. That was grim. Not looking forward to ever doing that again. And Josh is going to show us some of the results.
So yeah, Drew did really, really well. We've got a whole bunch of fancy graphs on the screen here. You don't really need to pay attention to a whole lot of them, but really what we're looking at on this Excel spreadsheet that we've got here is Drew came out with his VO2 coming out at 58 milliliters per minute per kilogram, which is really, really good for a starting point, really well above average. And it can only go up from here. So Drew's in a really good place for his Ironman, and we're looking forward to some further testing in the future.
There we go. I'm above average. Good start. Right, I finally recovered after the VO2 Max test, and safe to say that was horrible, but I'm fairly happy with the result of 58, which, as Josh mentioned, puts me at roughly the above average mark, which I'm happy with considering that we are just starting off. So I'm very happy with that. And also what I didn't mention before that as well, is I didn't really want it to be an excuse, is that 2 or 3 days ago, I actually had food poisoning. So this is my first session back in about 4 or 5 days. So we could say that that's not optimal, but it is what it is. I'm very happy with 58 and looking forward to building on that going forwards. So back at home now in the kitchen, which is where I'm going to be spending a lot of time during this Ironman preparation. And for the next workout, I've just prepared with a big old bowl of oats, some Biscoff and banana in there. But I was just looking at the VO2 Max results, and as we mentioned, we got 58 on that test, and I was trying to compare this to some other results. I feel like I shouldn't have done this, but you know, to compare this to some people you might know. So we've got someone like Chris Froome, for example, who's a famous British cyclist with a result of 84.6, significantly higher than 58. We've got someone like Lance Armstrong, again, a very famous cyclist, 84. On this list, there are no Ironman triathletes, but there are some distance runners with like 85, some cross-country skiers like Josh mentioned before, 86. So as he mentioned, the elite athletes, or at least the elite endurance athletes, are way above 80 with their scores. So I'm pretty happy with 58 to start off with though, and I was looking actually at a chart for where that would put me with my age range and things like that, and apparently the superior range for someone who is 20 to 29 years old male would be anything above 55. So we'll take that, we will take that. So we're just using this chart here, so 20 to 29, that second line in, above 55, but not quite elite. Now, in an ideal world, I would quite like to get at least in the high 60s and 70s, but I'm very happy where I'm starting off considering I am just building a baseline right now. At this current stage, I have about 29 weeks to train for the Ironman. Now the next 6 to 8 weeks of that is just going to be focusing on base building, so I can actually have a good capacity to handle the amount of volume I'm going to be taking on in this training. And then once we hit that 20-week mark, that's where we're going to specifically stick to a structured Ironman training protocol, which is going to take me from 10 to 12 hours of training per week, anywhere up to 15 hours plus. Now I'm going to break down exactly how I'm managing my training and what I'm doing in my training in a future video, but for now I'm still trying to balance my strength training in with the swimming, cycling and running as well, which is why we're keeping the carbs high, which is why we're keeping the capacity high as well, and why we're trying to build up sensibly so we don't get injured. That's some good porridge. Alright, back from an upper body session and a run. That was the first session I've actually had after VO2 Max in about 5 or 6 days. I weighed myself in the gym. I've lost 5 kilos since last Saturday. It's now Thursday, so 5 kilos in about 5 days due to that stomach bug that I had. So we've got a lot of calories to make up for, plus I didn't train in those 5 days, so I'm also trying to make up the training, so I'll be expending more than usual over these next couple of days. So that means all the food. So tonight we're cooking up some rump steak, some sweet potato. We're gonna just season that with a bit of roasting salt. Got some peppercorn sauce to kind of go over it, side of avocado to get some extra calories and fats in, and of course we're gonna wash it down with some shaken udder chocolate milkshake. So we're gonna cook this up. That's gonna be the final meal for today, and maybe some snacks later if we get a little bit peckish. That was worth waiting 5 days for. So guys, thanks so much for tuning in for the first episode of this Ironman journey. I can't wait to see where this goes over the next 6 months. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, make sure you subscribe. We've got so much coming out in the future and I can't wait to share it with you. And of course, I'm looking forward to going on this journey and sharing all of my lessons, all of my challenges with everyone. So again, thanks for tuning in. See you on the next video.